Going on to you, Cancer Crabs. So you Cancers have the Judgment, the Devil, and the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know why you Cancers keep getting the opposite zodiac sign, right? You get the Devil card, or you get the World card or something like that. But anyway, so these are the first three cards that you got. So for you Cancers, right? The Judgment and the Devil and the Queen of Pentacles is all about how you Cancer Crabs ultimately are striving to you. How do I say this? You Cancer Crabs are being yourselves. I honestly see that you Cancer Crabs are really coming into your own, in the sense that you're becoming more comfortable in the skin that you're in. A lot of people have said a lot of crazy things about you, and it's really their own dysfunction. Really, it's really their own projection of it. Because for you Cancer Crabs, now that you know why it is that you do what you do. And what I mean by that is the Judgment and the Devil, right? So many people are super judgmental of you. They give you a very hard time. They give you a very difficult time. So it's like, it's really about them being in a particular situation where it's like they look at you Cancers and they don't necessarily know what you do, why you do it, how you think, and they don't want to know because they're so caught up with trying to get over and take advantage of you. All it is that they end up doing is throwing out wild projections. And the thing about it is that the Queen of Pentacles now represents, the Queen of Pentacles is all about how, so this is ultimately what it is that you get. You get an individual where you, right, where they was expecting you Cancer Crabs to be broken, or to kind of like stick a, like kind of put a jacket on you, by creating a terrible reputation for you. And the Queen of Pentacles represents you Cancer Crabs are essentially defying the terrible reputation that some of those people essentially set out to set for you. And then the Hangman and the Eight of Cups represents the patience and allowing all of this drama that you may have been going through with somebody fairly recently to really kind of blow over. I see a lot of you Cancer Crabs very much so allowing that to blow over, in a sense that you don't want to participate in it. You Cancer Crabs see that going back and forth with this person and going back and forth with them, attempting to interacting with these people that you once dated is not the best thing for you to do. The best thing for you to do is to honestly leave them alone. And yeah, you Cancer Crabs pretty much got it spot on. You very much have it spot on. The Five of Cups and the Two of Wands, all about how, since that's the case, you very much so, once again, you Cancer Crabs, you have a lot of them kind of sad at the fact that they're not with you. And I know it sounds kind of confusing. It's like, well, how is it that they're able to do this, but then they're kind of, it's warm in here, that they're able to do this, but then they're still kind of sad that you Cancer Crabs are really not around. And the truth is that whenever, for the most part, whenever it is that you see people wilding, they're really kind of fragmented or split between two elements. And what I mean by that is the persona that they're trying to put up, and also the things that they do, and what it is that you actually, some of the things that they're actually trying to say passed through all of that type of stuff, right? So in other words, they did that, right, where they spread all these types of rumors, or maybe they didn't spread rumors, but it was just the two of you, and they would project things like, oh, you're crazy, and you need help, and you didn't know. That type of stuff, my dear Cancer Crabs, that's the situation. Because what happened is you Cancer Crabs are in a situation where, or were, to be more accurate, you Cancer Crabs realized that that's what it is that they were doing. But what you didn't realize about these people is that they very much so do want you around, and that they're very scared. They're very scared to actually be in a relationship with you, because if they do, then they would have to come clean and be honest and actually show their underbelly a little bit. Be intellectually honest and be transparent. And that's one thing that a lot of people unfortunately don't do enough of, is be more transparent. Because the transparency is what it is that you're going to need in order to move through life successfully, to be honest. But the Page of Swords and the Eight of Wands, these two cards right here are all about how, and you Cancer crabs realize this, but one thing that you Cancer crabs cannot allow yourselves to do is to start to interact with people that ultimately, you know what I mean, are snakes in the grass, that are two-faced like this. You can't trust those types of people. Like it's too much of the push and pull, you know what I mean? Yes and no. It's too much of the opposing forces in one person. Because people who have that type of mentality, there's a real dispute or conflict internally going on with them, where it's like who, you know, it's a power struggle where it's like internally, I'm talking about who's winning. Is it the ego, or is it the real vulnerable them that really wants to break down and cry? And it's, again, it's this tough act. So you Cancer crabs, the Page of Swords, you can't afford to allow yourselves to interact with someone that's like this, because it's ultimately going to be a waste of your time. It may not be a waste of theirs. I don't know how they think, but it may end up being a waste of your time, because again, the Eight of Wands and the King of Cups, you want a relationship, but you're not going to find one hanging out with somebody who is in a power struggle with their ego. It's not going to happen. So let's clarify the Hangman. You have the Emperor, Three of Pentacles, Two of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and then last but not least, you have the Knight of Cups. To clarify the Hanged Man. So the cards that I came up with are the Emperor and the Three of Pentacles. Once again, you want that dynamic. You want that peaceful. Yes, peaceful, but what word am I looking for? You Cancer crabs want that loving relationship between yourselves and somebody else. And a lot of you Cancer crabs are willing to do the patient thing. You're willing to wait. You know, you're willing to get to know other people, but you're willing to wait. You're not trying to immediately call a person a relationship. You're not. The Two of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles are about, because you don't want to end up wasting your time. And, you know, you Cancer crabs, I mean, to be honest with you Cancers, right? This is the reason why it is that you have to become very knowledgeable at understanding human nature, right? And being able to kind of read a person well enough and fast enough, right? Once you become more skilled, so that you don't have to have so much time that you would have to take to get to know a person, you know, because ultimately you don't have to take years and years and years and years. You really just want to get to the general understanding about a person. I want to say within a month, right? To be able to actually establish something. The problem that a lot of people tend to have, Cancers, is that people don't ever get to learn the people understand the outline of a person, right? The overlay, right? Without having to get to know the details, but they like the dysfunction. It's like, you know that this person is a gangster. Why are you hanging out with this person? Because the person is exciting. Okay, but this is what I'm talking about. Those are the same type of people who don't really understand what type of relationship they're in, right? What type of connection they're in, right? They don't understand that if you're talking about excitement, that's short-lived. You're only supposed to have a roll in the hay with the person. It's not supposed to be a full-blown relationship. But this is where the confusion comes into play, my dear Cancers. What a lot of people will do is they will get with someone that they know very much, because people know, they will know if someone is a decent individual, right, or not, more accurately. And if they're not, they'll go hang out with the person, but then they'll hang out with them long term, and then they'll cry about it. And it's like, what are you doing? You know? So a lot of you Cancers really have to understand that it's not necessarily about wasting time. That shouldn't really be the focus. What really should be the focus is the idea that you want to be able to know a person's character well enough, so that you don't have to waste so much time. It only becomes a waste of time when you spend an exorbitant amount of time, right, getting to or reviewing something that you already know the answer to already. You know a person is dysfunctional, but it would only become a waste of time if you keep going back to them, right? Or if you don't ask questions, if you don't get to know them. And then the Knight of Cups now represents, but a lot of you Cancer crabs are learning from your mistakes. So there's not really a whole lot for you to really worry your heads up about. Ultimately, all it is that you Cancer crabs really have to do is just take your time and get to know the person. Let's clarify the King of Cups for you Cancers. Oh yeah, appreciate the views, by the way, Cancer crabs. I really wasn't expecting this bounce back from y'all. But to clarify the King of Cups, you have the Moon, ironically, the Fool, Three of Swords, Queen of Wands, and then you have the Empress. So the Moon represents you Cancers and Pisces. So you showed up in your own reading, right? A lot of your energy is here. So the Moon and the Fool represents, once again, you already gonna know people's natures whenever it is that you start to get to know them a little bit more. The Fool represents, whenever it is that you see stuff like this, please don't waste your own time knowing their nature already and taking the next 6 months out of your life to get to know them. You Cancer crabs are smart. You know when somebody would be a waste of time. You have the amount of evidence to know when somebody would be a waste of time. Leave them alone. And then you have the Three of Swords and the Queen of Wands. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, the Three of Swords and the Queen of Wands is ultimately about how it is that, and don't take any crap from other people as well, in the sense that people who are not really there, they're there a little bit, but not really, and kind of, not making you a part of their life or any of that type of stuff. That's when you got to leave. Empress, snobbiness. That's another thing too to watch out for. Snobbiness. That's a big thing. Any kind of, they don't need you. I'm a boss. Rick Ross voice and all this other type of stuff. That's another thing too that you Cancer crabs may want to leave alone as well. But that's pretty much it. Comment on the video, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share the video. Appreciate y'all so much. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. Really smash that like button so we can get caught up in the algorithm. Those likes and those comments really do help. Those views really do help. Really appreciate you. Hit the notification bell and set the notification bell to all so you can be notified whenever I drop my videos.